How can I talk to the senior leadership team about creating a more inclusive school?
You could talk to them about making sure that existing policy is really up to date and that it hits what is currently looked for by Ofsted. But making sure that the documentation they've already got is up to date, because I feel like that's less scary for SLT to be like, this is what we've already got and this is how we just adapt it. And I think if they have a really good general overview policy, then individual teachers can adapt that for their classes and the age of the kids that they're teaching.
Approaching SLT with solutions is always great. So perhaps that's often seen as the role of the PSHE subject leader. And I had that role for many years in the school that I last taught in. I think if you've got that overview of the spiritual, moral, social, cultural side of things, as well as the personal, social, health education, and now what we're calling the relationships and health education that's statutory, if you've got that overview, then I think you're well placed to support the senior leadership team, kind of come with them with solutions as to how you'd like to make the school more inclusive, more supportive, perhaps some suggestions as to little changes that you think as a school that you could make. The other thing we did at the school where I was at, we also looked at signing up to, and we did sign up to something called, I think it's called the Equality Award, and that's again an external award that schools can apply for, and you need to gather evidence, and it gives you a bit of a checklist as to all the sorts of things as a school you and your senior leadership team need to be doing in order to obtain that Equality Award. That's a good way in, because you could support with that and be the one who is gathering the evidence and making those little changes, and maybe badgering the SLT to include a part on their school improvement plan so that it does make sure it becomes a priority. But yeah, supporting with making sure the policies are all up to date is a really important one. And Ofsted obviously will be looking to see that you've got those policies in place and that your school really is an inclusive, diverse setting, and that you're supporting that through lots of different avenues.
It only takes one person to start change.
Yeah, get the ball rolling. Yeah,
the responsibility isn't solely on your shoulders. You know, if you're like, I think that our school should be more inclusive, you know, that it's got further to go. Maybe, you know, there's training that you can get, and there are resources from external organisations like Stonewall, just like us. There are things that you can access to get help. You know, talk to your colleagues, see if anyone else is an ally, wants to be an ally. So you don't have to do it all on your own, basically.
How can the positive difference that teachers are making in schools be extended to the whole community?
I suppose my first thought when involving the whole community is about community events. You know, everyone knows about school summer fairs and, you know, Christmas activities, but it is now more important than ever that the community really gets involved in all events that pupils may be celebrating. So, for example, during LGBT History Month, which in the UK is in February, a school may want to put on an event for that, or have a member of the community who is LGBTQ plus come in and do an assembly or do a talk. And I suppose it is about bringing in the community and making sure that the school's presence and the school's influence doesn't just stop at the school gates.
Another idea that we had was you could involve parents through, you know, homework and home learning tasks. You could set projects which obviously are diverse throughout the curriculum. You know, like we now try to be diverse in other subjects, you know, in all areas. We're trying to represent lots of different people, you know, and cultures, and we study different religions. So why not study, you know, everyone in society? There have always been LGBTQ plus people, there always will be, and you know, they're part of every society. So it's great. You could do just a project about like maybe inspiring people, role models. There's loads of amazing, you know, activists, artists, scientists over the years, some of whom you'll have heard of, you know, and also, you know, modern day role models. And if you need help with that, we've actually got an inspirational LGBT people ebook, made for kids, and so you can get help with that research side of things. But it would be great if parents worked with their kids, learned a little bit, took part in that as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think the resources that schools send home will really help to boost that shared knowledge and acceptance and respect and all the morals and values that schools are really trying to work on with children. That can be extended through the resources sent home. And I think that also includes the school's website and the things they place on there, and the wording that schools use in anything that's sent home. So that could be in the newsletters that are sent home, again, the terminology we use. And maybe, we just say address a letter to families, and we don't need to necessarily use the words parents and carers. So we're trying to be as inclusive as possible in all the literature that represents the school, and that message on a quite a subliminal level filters through, so that everybody gets on board with sharing their pronouns, or talking about different families or people's partners, and that filters through to the whole community, and then everyone's on board and more comfortable with it, and it becomes the norm to be doing that. As a teacher, I think try to think beyond the classroom as often as you can, so that you are extending it and promoting that celebration of diversity all the time.